in the lineup. So that's a lot of experience.
First pitch, it's a ground ball hit to Cooper Weiss at shorts. One pitch, one out as Ryan Waldschmidt is put away.
You know, Tanner Bauman is getting the ball today. It's his first start this year. He's been a go-to guy out of the bullpen for a couple of years. And honestly, I think this was their best option to try to settle things down and get him into the game and give the offense a chance to get going.
Delivers a first pitch strike to Petrie.
You know, pitchers can't win a game for you. All they can do is give your offense a chance to win the game. And, you know, honestly, the first two games of this series and going back to last weekend against Tennessee, the pitchers have really not been able to give the offense a shot. They got a good Friday night bullpen performance a week ago, and they got another one on Thursday in this series. But they just, you know, they haven't been able to give their offense enough opportunity to win the game.
So far, good start for Bauman. He's got two quick outs to start the game.
And when I talk about bullpen in this series, I'm really just talking about McBride. I mean, he came in and was able to steady the ship a little bit, but they've been on their heels on the defensive side. When Auburn's been in the field, it's been very much a task to get off.
This is the catcher. This is Devin Burks.
And here's you a guy that's kind of an example of what I was talking to on the open, that it's a red shirt guy. So think about that. Kid comes out of high school, out of Bradenton, Florida, to the University of Kentucky, and he gets told right away, you're not good enough to play. And so he spends a year getting himself bigger, stronger, and now all of a sudden he's a team leader. I mean, this is a guy behind the dish that leads this club. That's why I see, you know, one of the words that I thought of as I looked through their entire lineup was the word character. Mm-hmm. You know, redshirting is a test of character.
Lifted in the air, shallow right field. The right fielder, Bobby Pierce, makes the catch, and the Wildcats go down in order. What a weapon he is to have for game 3 of a 3-game series, as Cooper Weiss leads off, swings and misses for strike 1.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because game 3s in any series can get ugly, especially if the pitcher on the mound isn't throwing strikes. And Mason Moore's, you know, he's been out there so many times in so many different situations. He is a strike thrower. I would expect they would play well behind him.
It's been a Chamber of Commerce weekend in Auburn. 77 degrees. There's not a cloud in the sky. Wind at 9 miles an hour towards left center field. Slow roller to third. Daly fires it across in time to retire Cooper Weiss to begin the bottom of the first.
You know, Kentucky, I think, is fielding about 980 as a team, which is incredibly high. The middle infielders have only made, I think, 2 errors between the two of them. But they play on turf in Lexington. And sometimes you get guys from the turf to the grass. It can be a little bit of a transition, but these guys, they're just very, very, very good defensively. You take good pitching and good defense, and you're going to always have a chance. And hats off to Nick Mingione and his staff, because I think they've really given themselves a chance with this club, maybe to make a push at Omaha this year.
They've definitely been on a roll. 9 consecutive SEC victories entering today. That is a Kentucky program record. Cooper McMurray at the plate. He's got a 3-1 count.
They bumped Coop up into that 2-hole with Irish out, and you know, the two of them had sort of been the guys carrying them offensively, and they're going to need somebody else to step up today. The guy on deck coming up, Bobby Pierce, may be that guy. He's he's been a little nicked up himself. So we'll see. Got him at the plate and Hall on deck. So this is a place in the lineup where Auburn can do some damage themselves.
See the numbers this season for Bobby Pierce. Got the start last night. He was in the 5 spot last night, gets bumped up to the 3 hole today. This is game number 130 for Bobby Pierce as an Auburn Tiger. Career 300 hitter.
Looks like Moore is shaky a little bit early, especially with the slider. He's bouncing a few of them as we get started. We've had, strike zone in this weekend to me has been it's been noticeably high, and I don't mean that it's been balls high. They've been calling a high strike, and I think Kentucky has really taken advantage of it. I think Auburn has tried to elevate the ball, but has not had as much success.
Slow roller, third base side. 2-2 counts. Head coach for the Auburn Tigers, that man, Butch Thompson, now his 9th season. He's been Omaha twice, most recently 2022. Longtime assistant coach at Mississippi State and also Auburn as well. Swing and a miss. First strikeout today for Mason Moore.
There's the high fastball. I think that Bobby's a little anxious in that at bat. You'd like for him to stay off of that breaking ball, the pitch before, and I think he left the strike zone a couple of times right there. He just pressing just a little bit, wanting to do too much.
The batter, this is Christian Hall. Had a pitch hit RBI base knock in game 1 of this series. Had a sac fly and a pinch hitting opportunity last night. Got the start for game 3. Home plate umpire today, by the way. Hank Himinen, Justin Robinson umpired first. Brandon Cooper at second base. Jeffrey Macias umpire at third.
So the book on Moore against lefts was fastball change, and he started off doing just that. So he tripled the change. That's 3 in a row. When you do something like that as a pitcher, you basically have decided that the hitter can't hit it. And so if you can't hit it, just stay with it. You're not really trying to set anything up. You're just repeating the pitch. So he showed him a fastball off the plate. Kind of changed timing up, his rhythm up a little bit.
Raked in the air to right field. McCoy backs up a little bit, makes the catch, and the inning is over. No score after top second, no score between Auburn and Kentucky. So you're no stranger to the SEC. You've been a coach in this conference. How would you describe life in the SEC baseball-wise?
I think it's the major league version of Division I baseball.
I'm going to show you how tough it is. Auburn, 5 consecutive top 10 opponents. Last time that happened, Georgia did it in 2016. Fabian over to first as Nick Lopez grounds out to begin the second. But look at that. Look, that is an absolutely brutal stretch for Auburn.
You know, if you're a player, it's not. I mean, it is a brutal stretch for coaches. There's no question about that. It's awesome for fans, and it's awesome for players. And, you know, honestly, there's some other good Power 5 leagues, but there's not anything like this one. And if you've got an opportunity to play in this league, you know, it would be an extremely difficult decision to turn it down.
Mitchell Daly at the plate. 2-0 count.
Now I remember when Mitchell Daly signed out of Bob Jones High School in Madison, Alabama, with the University of Texas, and I thought, what is going on there? And then I found out the dude was born at Fort Hood.
Okay.
All right, so he's a military guy, and I guess he drank some of that burnt orange Kool-Aid when he was young, and he spent the last 3 years in Austin, and now he's in the SEC.
2-2, swing and a miss. Tanner Bauman picks up his first strikeout of the day. So first 5 SEC series for Auburn. Last time somebody did it, Georgia 2016. Just tells you how good everybody has been so far that Auburn has played. Again, this was a Kentucky team. They were picked preseason 5th in the East. They did make a super regional last year. They played LSU in Baton Rouge. LSU, the defending national champs. Kentucky currently first place at the top of the conference. In the air, shallow center field, behind the bag at second. Cooper Weiss makes the catch, and Kentucky goes.
A year ago out of the pen, and did it with a 1.8 ERA. So
off the bat of Ballou in the air to right field, jumps on the first pitch and's got a solo home run to give Auburn their first lead of the weekend.
You know, Tanner Bauman has gotten off to a good start, and hats off. I mean, the guys come out, you get a freshman like Ballou, who I think has got such a high ceiling. I don't know what Gabe Gross looked like when he was a freshman, but I'm betting he looked a little bit like Cade Ballou. Really talented guy.
It's his 3rd home run of the season for the freshman from right here in Auburn. And he wasted no time taking off on that pitch.
Right now, he's hitting a home run about every 10 at-bats.
We'll take that. We'll sign up for that.
Yep.
New batter is Chris Stanfield, sophomore out of Tallahassee, Florida. So 98 miles an hour off the bat. Went 385 feet.
We've got a little breeze today. 98 off the bat won't always leave the ballpark, but he's got a little breeze helping him today, and he's got a really good swing. He's used to seeing balls fly out of the park. He hit 16 of them last year in high school. Think about that now. You don't play that many games.
Right.
I mean, that's 16 home runs.
And that's an Auburn high school baseball program that has really produced a lot of great talent over the years. So that with Air Force. Air Force had 3 Auburn high school grads on the baseball team. Checks his swing, goes around, says the first base umpire, Justin Robinson. So Stanfield strikes out. Second one today for Moore.
Yeah, he got that one right. Check swings are maybe my biggest pet peeve as a coach, but they got that one right.
What part about it?
Just no definition, and so it's so subjective from umpire to umpire. There's really no training for it.
Yeah.
Some years there's been in years past they would say if the barrel passed the front hip. For me, if the barrel passes the plate, you could have hit the ball in fair territory. That should be a swing.
Fabian drills it to left field. He's got a 1-out single.
He's been playing well. Saw a couple of starts here at second base recently. Kind of moved him off at third, where I thought he played third base, really well. has had some timely hits, some very timely hits, particularly 2 strike hits. I think he does a great job of using the right side of the park. There he got around that ball pretty good, but he hit it through the left side. Maybe we got something going here.
So this brings up the freshman Eric Guevara out of Panama, his 2nd start in a row.
You know, Eric's coming back from that much publicized knee injury. He's just coming back from a UCL or ACL tear surgery in record time. He has gotten off to a slow start, but what would you expect trying to, you know, hit your way into, you know, getting comfortable against the kind of people we've already been talking about playing. I mean, he's had really no opportunity, no preseason to get ready, but you can see, I believe that you know, there's still some healing going on there.
Just stay in town and hang out, lift weights, all that fun stuff.
I bet they got weights in Panama.
This ball drilled deep to left field. It is off the wall. Fabian hustles to third. He'll get there standing up, sliding in safely at second with a double. It's the freshman Eric Guevara, the first double of his career.
There we go. That swing will play, and you know, he's been swinging and missing some, but that's a pretty flat swing through the zone. Got that fastball a little bit up, played into his swing, stayed on top of it. You know, this might be the one time where the monster out there saved a home run. That ball was hit well enough to get out of just about any park without that wall there. And they played it pretty good. I thought it was going to be closer at second, the way it came off the wall, but he beat that thing in there.
The batter, this is Strickland in the 9 spot. So he's got Fabian at third. Guevara's on second, 1 out in the inning. Solo shot to start the bottom of the second for the Tigers. It's their first lead this weekend.
You know, Strickland is true freshman. This is sort of a guy who's in there for his defense. They got him hitting down at the bottom, but right now, they honestly, not so much a timely hit as just get a ball in play, particularly to the middle of the field. And he did that. I think it was on Thursday. He came in and got a base hit early in the game that scored a couple of runs. Son of a coach, Scott Strickland, who coached for quite a long time at Georgia. Cale was headed there until Scott was let go. And, you know, I think Butch has gotten a good get here because of that.
He started last night. He's 3 for 10 at the plate this season. So he was down 0-2. Now it's a full count. The 3-2 to Strickland. High for ball 4. The Tigers have the bases loaded.
Really good at bat right there. Really, really good at bat. Go from an 0-2 count to a base on ball is, from a pitching standpoint, is one of the things you just hate the most. But for a hitter, that's a big, big win right there.
Top of the order, the batter, it's Cooper Weiss. Weiss, it's been a roller coaster of a series for the senior. He matched his season high in hits in a game in Game 1 with 3. And then last night goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Well, at some point you got to tip your hat to the other side. I thought Nyman last night, it wasn't too many years ago that a guy like him wouldn't be in college right now. We're talking about a grad transfer from Central Connecticut who had a great career there, pitched to NCAA tournament a year ago, you know, throwing 92, 93 from the left side, but now we've got a 20-round draft. And it's possible for a guy like him to actually fall through the cracks, which I think is what he did.
McCoy makes the catch, fires it to third. It's a sac fly off the bat of Cooper Weiss as Auburn takes a 2-run lead. Fabian scored from third. Eric Guevara moves from second to third. Cale Strickland remains at first base. So 2 outs in the inning. Runners on third and first for Cooper McMurray, who has had an awfully good weekend at the plate. And he lifts the first pitch high and deep to left field. Waltzman raging over. He's in foul territory, and he makes the catch, actually in fair territory, for the final out of the inning. So for the Tigers, Kate.
It's a beautiful day. We got a little nippish last night, but it has quickly warmed back up.
Boy, that was just out of the reach of Pierce. Nolan McCarthy is leading off here for Kentucky, the junior out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is game number 99 for him in his Wildcat career. Matched his season high, 3 hits yesterday. One hopper to Cooper Weiss. Fires it across in time. About the start for Tanner Bauman. That is 7 in a row. He is retired to start the ball game.
I mean, it's just what the club needed. I think this is a guy that the players themselves probably wanted out there as much as anything. I think they have a high level of trust.
Brings up the sophomore James McCoy out of Port St. Joe, Florida. He is looking for his first base hit this weekend. He is 0 for 8 in this series.
He's also one of the guys that has come up in this program that redshirted and has shown, even though he hadn't done much at the plate, he has shown you a pretty good arm out in right field. One thing I've noticed, both the right fielder and center fielder McCarthy have really, really good arms.
Quick 2 outs to start this. Another strikeout for Bauman. This is number 2 today. You've touched on it a couple of times. It's just unfamiliar territory now. Redshirting. And kids sticking with it, staying in the program, coming up that way.
Yeah. No, they're not used to sitting. They're very talented kids, and they're just not used to it. Most of them started for sure by the time they were in 10th grade, but a lot of them started in the 9th grade, and so they're just not used to waiting. And nobody wants to take a long-term approach to things. It takes high character to do it.
Speaks volumes of the job Mingione and his staff have done at Kentucky as Grant Smith sends it in the air to center field. Stanfield makes the catch, and Kentucky goes down in order 1-2-3 for the 3rd straight inning. It's a 2-run lead for Albright. The junior out of San Diego joins us. And Connor, you were really, really good last night, finishing with a career-high 7 strikeouts. How do you feel about your outing last night?
Yeah, I was very happy with it. I'm glad I was able to keep us in the game. And unfortunately, we couldn't come out on top, but yeah, it was a good outing.
Hey, Connor, this is Steve Smith. I'm really curious to know how you think the dugout is today.
Yeah, we're loud, we're cheering, we're trying to win this ball game, and we're gonna stay loud and we're gonna stay locked in and just do the best we can on the bench.
What's been your take? What do you think's behind just the ineffectiveness in the last week or so, giving up the long ball?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just haven't made pitches at times and missed our spots, and other teams have done a good job hurting us when we haven't been. But we're just trying to get better and keep improving on that.
Connor, I'm curious, just what's the transition been like for you coming from California, San Diego to life at Auburn and competing in the SEC? How's that been for you?
It's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun here, and it's been nice. And I love Auburn and love everything about it, and super excited that I was able to come here.
What was the biggest adjustment for you coming from the West Coast to Alabama?
I mean, I played in Florida last season, so not too much of an adjustment. Definitely going out there from San Diego was a bit of an adjustment with the humidity and everything, but going from Florida to here, really not too bad.
Well, Connor, we appreciate you taking time to visit with us. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful Saturday.
All right, thank you for having me.
That's the Auburn pitcher, Connor McBride, who finished with a career-high 7 strikeouts. Pitching in relief last night. And for the first time in quite a while, we got the shift on here for the Kentucky defense as Christian Hall is at the plate. So there's essentially nobody on the left side of the infield with a lefty Hall at the plate here.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I guess if you're Kentucky right now, you'd be just fine if he wants to drop one down. And I think from Auburn's perspective, they don't want him dropping it down. They want him to swing the bat. So it's kind of like both sides are daring the other to do what they want to do. Got Daly over there in the 4-hole. I don't know how many ground balls that Hall really hits. He's more of a fly ball type guy, and honestly, he's more of a guy who hits it out of the park or strikes out. I thought last night he had to face the left-hander when he came in, and he did a really good job of getting the ball in play and getting the sac fly to score the run. When they sent him up there, the game, honestly, a long ball last night could have changed the tone of that game, and Kentucky didn't leave the right-hander out there. They went and got the left, Nove, and he at least
Here's a pitch out, throw down a second. It's not in time. It's a stolen base for Bobby Pierce. Remember, nobody was covering the bag at third, so that's the catcher, Devin Burks, that had to hustle to third base to keep Bobby Pierce at second.
And honestly, that's the play. I've seen this a couple of times in the big leagues where the base runner going into second does not slide. He actually just runs through the bag and continues on to third. And that, it would have been interesting to see if Bobby would have beaten the tag. I think he might have. But again, when you play that irregular of a defense, you needed somebody heads up like that catcher to get down there and take third base.
So with the runner on second, the shift is now off a little bit. Daly, the third baseman, is over third. 3-2 is fouled back. So the shortstop, Grant Smith, he's playing behind the bag at second. And Petrie's deep in the hole. He's essentially in shallow right field right now.
Just playing straight pull. They're totally expecting a ball to be hit. If it's hit on the ground, to be hit on the right side. And the information that everybody has now in terms of spray charts, everybody's playing out of the same playbook. And you saw the shifts come into college baseball whenever companies were able to start producing the spray chart. This isn't data that teams are producing on their own. They're buying this data.
That was a 9-pitch at bat that Christian Hall is able to draw a walk. What a fantastic plate appearance.
Great at bat, and it's got to be getting the wheels turning a little bit in Kentucky's dugout to see Moore get off to an uncharacteristic start. And you're down there and you're wanting to ride the starter as much as you can. Put on a no-look pick right there, trying to catch Bobby sort of sleeping, but it didn't work. But you know, you're used to seeing your guy work out of some adversity, and so they're giving him a chance to do it. But if you're not careful, you know, we've already seen K Blue hit one out of the park. Got nobody out, runners at first and second. This is an opportunity to put a crooked number on the board.
Well, you just alluded to it last time he was up, second inning. First pitch he saw, just cranked it over the right field wall to give Auburn its first lead of the weekend. His third home run. Flips this in the air, foul tier, or rather down the left field line, and it is out of the reach of Ryan Waldschmidt. Bobby Pierce on second, he walked. Christian Hall standing at first. Three-one delivery, it's called a strike. Ballou thought it potentially missed. It's a full count.
You know, he went 3-1 change right there. And what he'd really like to have had happen right there is get a swing. You know, Kay did a good job recognizing the pitch and just taking it.
3-2, foul back.
He doubled the change again. You know, it's hitter right there, 3-1 for sure, sitting fastball. 3-2 after seeing a 3-1 change, not so much. See what we get here.
Outside ball 4. So that was the third consecutive 3-2 count for Mason Moore. He has walked, the bases loaded.
A little bit. But they are going to give him another hitter.
Nobody out. Bases are loaded for Stanfield. Sends it down the line, but it's foul. Jeffrey Macias, third base umpire, directly on top of it. Boy, that was an absolute missile. Here's the replay.
To game inches.
Lifted in the air to left field. Waldschmidt has room. He makes the catch, tacking from third and scoring easily. It's Bobby Pierce. A sac fly by Stanfield grows the Auburn lead. 3-0 Tigers. What have you seen from Auburn in the hitting approach today versus the first two games of this series?
You know, I don't know that it's a lot different on the Auburn side. The pitching they're seeing is a lot different. They've had a couple of chances, and they're getting another one right now to actually do some big damage. And so far, you know, the most they've been able to do with it is routine fly balls, has scored runs from third. And honestly, Kentucky's got to feel pretty good about where they are right now, considering, you know, how ineffective Moore's been on the mound in terms of the strike zone. I just think Auburn right now is searching for life without Ike. I mean, Ike Irish is just a tremendous part of the lineup.
Second game in a row to miss. In the air to left field, that's down for a base hit. Christian Hall gets stopped at third. Bases are loaded for Auburn.
Second base hit for Derek. Got on top of the ball, hit it well, hit it hard through the left side. I've been waiting for him to kind of get going too. He got off to a good start during this, you know, early part of the season, and then it's not overpowering. And right-handers have hit him at a 316, so he's in a tough spot. This is not exactly where he'd like to be. He's got the three rights coming up with the bases loaded.
He did pitch last night. He pitched 2/3 of an inning as that gets away from Burks momentarily. It's a 2-0 count on the true freshman, Eric Guevara. First time in his career to be at the plate when the bases are loaded. Hit his first career double last time he was up in the second. So what's the approach here if your Byers on the mound?
Try to get some weak contact. If you can get a ground ball, even better.
Good bounce back there. He was behind 2-0. Now a level count, 2-2.
You know, you're seeing these guys using the watches and using pitch comps. All these pitches are coming from the dugout. So when you ask me what his approach is, you're really asking me what's his pitching coach's approach, and because he's the guy that's controlling this right now.
Two-two, chopper up the middle, charging in. Petrie bobbles it. A run scores for Auburn, and everybody is safe on base. Wow. 4-0 lead. Tigers in front.
Very uncharacteristic era. It was kind of a, you know, they wanted to try to turn two on a ball that they really didn't have a chance to turn two on. So, you know, the game's always asking you the question, you know, what's the question the game's asking you? Most of the time, right there, the game's just asking you to get one out. You don't have a chance to get two, just get an out. And players tend to want to, you know, when they get asked a question, they tend to want to do more. You know, Kentucky has been a really, really efficient team on the course of the season in terms of free bases. So those bases like base on balls, hit batters, walks, errors, all of the things that really, like that right there. There's another free base. We got a hit batter with the bases loaded, so that free base actually produces a run. On the course of the year, Kentucky's averaging less than 6 of those on a game, which is, I mean, it's largely because their pitching has been so effective in throwing strikes and the catcher throwing guys out. I think they'd only allowed 2 stolen bases in the league coming into this series. I believe we've got a couple, but they just don't, they just play the game well. It's not about playing the opponent. They play the game well. And so this is a moment in time for Kentucky they're not used to, because they're typically playing the game pretty well. And to this point in the game, they're not.
Top of the order for Auburn. This is Cooper Weiss. Still only 1 out in the inning. Bases are loaded.
And honestly, what they need on the mound right now is a strikeout guy. They need strikeouts, and they don't have that kind of guy on the mound. They've got a guy on the mound that we're going to put the ball in play on, and, you know, good things happen when you can do that.
In the air, left center field. Waltzman and McCarthy converge. Waltzman comes up with it, fires it to third base, and everybody is safe again for the Tigers. Fabian scores from third to make it a 5-0 lead for Auburn. Sac fly for Cooper Weiss. Eric Guevara goes from second to third. Cooper McMurray's the 9th batter at the plate this inning for the Tigers, and look at the damage he's done the last 22 games.
You know, you put him and Ike Ayers in a lineup, and you've got 2 really, really good left-hand hitters, because they handle the lefts on the mound as well as they handle the rights.
McMurray today's 0 for 1 with a walk.
Like, I don't think that Byers has got a pitch that he's going to be able to give Cooper a bunch of trouble with. Line
drive, base hit to right field. Another runner across for Auburn, trying to go from first to third and slamming on the brakes and going back to second. It's Cale Strickland. An RBI base hit for Cooper McMurray. It's a 7-0 lead for the Tigers.
That's almost the exact pitch that Nicholson hit out the other night. That kind of was the backbreaker against Carson Myers. Just a kind of a slow, loopy breaking ball, and good left-hand hitters, they can stay in on that.
So there's nobody else in the bullpen right now for Kentucky. It is Byers, as this is rolled foul off the bat of Bobby Pierce. 5 runs on 2 hits in this half inning. Auburn has been helped out by an error as well.
This is it's a moment of game I don't understand. There's somebody, I see a ball going back and forth in that bullpen out there, but, you know, again, it's all hands on deck. I don't know who you play on Tuesday, but you're not thinking about that game right now, and you got to figure out a way to shut the offense down and give you guys a chance.
That's in front of home plate. It's Louisville, by the way, at Louisville on Tuesday for Kentucky.
Oh, bless your hearts. You know, one of the things that in game 1, Kentucky ran out one of their best guys out of the pen, and he was very, very good. Who was that? Was that Cooper Robinson? It was, or it might have been Lafferty. Anyway, they ran a guy out there.
It was Travis Smith went 3 innings.
That's who it was. Who's, you know, a guy that's had TJ in the past.
In the air right field, charging in to make the catch. It's McCoy, and the inning comes to a close. What an inning for the Tigers. 5 runs on 2 hits, 7-run lead.
But he's got good stuff, and he's doing the 2 things they really need. I mean, he's striking out a few guys, but he's also getting the ball, keeping the ball on the ground. And I mean, clearly Kentucky has, for this weekend for sure, you know, benefited from balls out of the park, and they just haven't been able to get much in the air off of him.
Yeah, 7 home runs the first 2 games for Kentucky. They had 6 last night. Most home runs they've smacked in a game since 2021. This is the top of the lineup for the Wildcats. Ryan Waldschmidt 0 for 1.
But you just don't want to give them anything at this point. You've kind of got the game under control right now, but you still got, it's a 27-out game.
Hit sharply, and that will trickle into center field. So the first base runner today for Kentucky.
Hard hit ground ball. I mean, I don't know. Cooper could have tried to body that one up a little bit, maybe. Not sure he could have got him anyway. He tried to glove it and just wasn't able to make the play.
So this is ruled a base hit, and this was just a scorched ground ball up the middle. On the move, throw down by Strickland, on target, as Waldschmidt is thrown out for the 6th time this season.
You know, it's a really interesting decision there, running down by 7.
So Waldschmidt, he's not leaving. Kentucky is pondering a challenge here. Here's the replay.
I think he's out. I don't know, the tag, but you're going to have refutable.
Yeah, the throw got there in time. It's just, where's the tag?
Yeah. Take the tag to the bag. Take the tag to the bag. And that's really why he's there. Kentucky runs the bases. They like to run. You know, I'm not going to criticize. I'm not really not criticizing that down by 7 running. I mean, the book says you don't do that. The book says you play station to station. But I kind of compare it to football. What do you do when you get way behind in football?
Yeah.
What do you do?
You're aggressive.
You're aggressive. You start throwing it. You don't turn around and hand it off. And so, most of the time in baseball, teams, they sort of shut it down. You'd like not to be out for sure. You don't want to give up outs on the bases like that. So I think you've got to feel like you got a really good chance of making it. He really didn't have a great chance. The throw beat him. The only chance they had was just the tag. Great play.
My goodness, what a play by Cooper Weiss. Ranging over to his right, backhand scoop. This is a ridiculous play by the senior.
Yep, Auburn showing they can play a little D too.
The catcher number 7, Devin Burks.
So 2 outs, bases are empty. Here's the Kentucky junior catcher, Devin Burks. So Kentucky, they pick up their first base hit, first base runner in this inning, and then Ryan Waltzman is immediately thrown out. That's too far outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Burks. 3 for 9 in his career against Auburn.
What do you think it says about how they feel about Devin Burks when he's hitting 237 on the season and he's hitting in a 3-hole?
A lot of confidence.
A lot of trust. A lot of trust.
How much time and thought did you put into your lineup?
I think a lot. I mean, there's very few things in the game that a coach can control. That is one of them. Honestly, once he makes the lineup out and sticks it on the wall, I mean, the game is largely in the hands of the players. It's not like you can draw up a new play, or you don't have free substitution, so you can't necessarily call a play to get the ball thrown to your guy or pass to him. It's
number 9, Nick Lopez.
It's really a frustrating game. A lot of times, if you're the average dad and you turned into a coach and you want to control things, baseball's probably not for you.
That's the first walk today, by the way, for Bauman. This is driven in the air. That's a base hit for Nick Lopez, trying to go from first to third. It's Burks. Here's the throw by Pierce. It's not in time. So the first hit today for Lopez. It's a single.
The throw out at second base.
Mitchell Daly swings and misses for strike 1.
It's a good pitch, good back foot slider. These right-handers have a hard time laying off of that.
Speaking from experience.
Well, I was right-handed, so I got no experience in it, but I've seen it. I've seen it a lot. Boy, don't I wish I could have thrown left-handed.
It's up and outside. Really the first time today there's life in that Kentucky dugout. They always have a blast, always have a good time. We're trying to will some runs on the board here for the Wildcats here in the top of the 4th.
A little different zone today. That pitch there, I think both first 2 games would have been called a strike. It's been a fairly consistent high strike. 2 games that was balled.
And that is a strike, full count.
This is a pretty significant pitch right here with Nicholson on deck. I would think if you're not throwing you got to throw what you think you can throw for a strike right here. I'm not saying it's always fastball. That was a fastball. But for Daly, this is a chance to keep the line moving and to get a guy to the plate who's been hot, who's really good left on left, and got a chance to to put some runs on the board and kind of get them back in the game. This is one of those key moments in this game.
3-2 pitch, it's called strike 3. Daly goes down looking, and the inning is over. Kentucky leaves 2 runners stranded. This series, I know today's not the start that you want, but what's pleased you the most this weekend, taking the first 2 today this weekend against Auburn?
Just the way our guys have competed. Obviously, this is a tough environment to play against a really good team, but our guys have competed really well. And then, so far today, I don't want to dodge the fact that we're down 7-0, but just uncharacteristics, maybe some walks and HBPs, things that when we're at our best we don't do. But I'll tell you what, you saw last inning, we're 1 swing away from making this a 7-3 game. And the thing I liked about what we've done the last 2 days is the thing I like about my team is they won't stop competing. And I thought that showed right there in this inning.
Hey, Nick, it's Steve Smith. I thought that the last at bat was, as you mentioned, pretty big, especially with Nicholson on deck.
Yeah, and you know what? At this point, you know this. It's 7-0, so really they're all important. But to your point, I mean, the guy's swinging the bat great. And, man, it'd been nice to get him up there with the bases loaded and make it a chance for 7-4. But it didn't work out. But, I do love Coach Smith, the way our guys compete, man. And I'll expect nothing less today.
Absolutely.
Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. See ya.
So Kentucky will turn it over. New face on the mound here for the Wildcats. 3rd different pitcher used today. So there you see the new pitcher on the mound here for Kentucky is coming in for Evan Byers. And for Auburn, it'll be 4, 5, 6 batters. This is Christian Hall. Hall sends it in the air, left field, and out of play. So 0-2 count. See the numbers this season for Hagan? No. His 4th appearance. Chopper up the middle. Petrie collects it, and Christian Hall grounds out to begin the 4th. So big spot today and opportunity for Hagan now.
Yeah, Nick, I like the way he believes in his club, and it's going to take he's going to have to get a little bit of length out of some guys that don't normally throw probably on the weekend, and Hagenau's one of them. He threw this past Tuesday in their loss at Sanford. Sometimes, you get a guy, if you pitch him on Tuesdays and he's got plenty of rest, to come back today, so that's not the issue. Sometimes you can actually get them in rhythm, and they can be pretty effective for you.
Slow roller over to Grant Smith, and he bobbles it. It has just been that kind of a day for Kentucky. 2nd error on the Wildcats.
Yeah, as we mentioned, for a club field of 980, and especially in the middle, the 2 guys in the middle are pretty special. Both of them amongst the best defenders in the league, and really up for some recognition nationally. Tells you how hard the game is.
Chris Stanfield, the new hitter for the Tigers. You mentioned the 980 fielding percentage. Is there a number that you wanted your team to be at defensively in that area?
Well, fielding percentage obviously is pretty simple to calculate.
Runner on the move, and Burks bobbles it. So it's a stolen base for Ballou. The first of his Auburn career.
So we are keeping the foot on the pedal right now. These 2 teams really are very similar in how they like to play the game. Both of them hit their share of home runs. Both of them like to run. This has been a kind of a coming out for Auburn this year. Kentucky's always run, but Auburn has run more this year than ever, and we've noted before one of only a couple of teams, D1 teams, with at least 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs as a team. So they're similar in that regard. And I think that the thing that has separated this weekend so far just really has just been on the mound. And the place where Auburn has, honestly, to this point in the season, searching is for starting pitching. And I think Joseph Gonzalez, not being the Joseph Gonzalez of old, not being able to bounce back, that's really, that's incredibly difficult. Those are some huge shoes to try to fill. And I think they're trying to figure it out. And today's an example of that with the start today by Tanner. And I think at this point he's done what it really as well as they could have expected.
Chris Stanfield strikes out looking. This is Fabian, lifts it in the air, shallow right center field. Who wants it? McCarthy makes the catch, and the inning is over. So the Tigers. SEC tournament starts May 21st. Championship game is on May 26th. Kentucky has never won the SEC tournament. Last time Auburn won the whole thing, 1998. Hoover's been the home of the SEC tournament for decades now. They've done an excellent job hosting it. Looking at the SEC East, Kentucky at the top. Program record, 13-1 start in SEC play.
Okay, Graham, what was the first year that the tournament was held in Hoover?
Putting me on the spot, but you know what, Steve? This is what Google was made for right here. I can look it up and tell you. Well, do you know off the top of your head?
Absolutely, I do. I was there.
As Nicholson sends it fouling out of play.
I was there, and on Sunday it started raining so hard we just all packed our stuff and went home.
So what was the answer?
The answer is 1990.
Wow, so think about that, over 30 years.
It left. It wasn't played there in 91, I don't think. I know it was played in 90. I think in 91, 92, 93, it moved around. I know it was on campuses.
Yeah.
I remember playing it at LSU. It eventually went back to Hoover, and it's really become the model for conference tournaments. It's just a tremendous tournament.
Tough to beat when he's on the mound for Auburn.
Yeah, you'd like to have a couple more guys like him. He was big for him last weekend in that win against Tennessee. Came in and punched out 6 or so over the last 4 innings in the win. Got an unusual slot. What you're really looking for out of a pitcher sometimes is just something that's not ordinary, that's not normal. The analytics that we have today, the ability to measure things, and we've got this in this ballpark where they're getting markerless video right now, so they're measuring every single thing that can be measured out there, and you learn from that, what guys do well and what is successful for them. You can see from the get-go it's a low slot, but it's not a low slot that's soft. I mean, he's running it up there in the low 90s from there.
If you're wondering what it was about, communication issues for Armstrong. So looked like he switched it out with Guevara at third. So he's got a 2-0 count. This is Nolan McCarthy. He's had a really good weekend. Takes a strike. So McCarthy showing bunt. We really have not seen a lot of that this weekend. Kentucky was leading the SEC in sacrifice bunts.
He's not even thinking about bunting there. They show bunt every time they want to take, and it's really just something to distract the pitcher, which it's not going to distract good pitchers, but it can be a distraction. And I guess you can make the case that it helps the hitters in terms of timing when they do want to bunt, because they're squaring around a ton. When they take a pitch, when it takes on, they're not standing there like a statue.
That's slice foul. 2-2 on McCarthy. He's got 4 hits this weekend.
Looks like Johnny's a little short on velo today, maybe. You don't have your best stuff every day. So can you pitch without your best stuff? We'll find out.
Ground ball up the middle. That squeezes through. It's a base hit. Nicholson stops at second. So back-to-back singles for Kentucky to begin the 5th. So Fabian, he had a long way to go. Look how far over he is.
Yeah, the charts must be telling him, you know, he's going to hit the ball through the right side, because that is a big adjustment there. That if he's playing pretty straight up, I think we got a routine double play ball right there.
So nobody out, 2 runners on base. The batter is the sophomore James McCoy, who is 0 for 9 this weekend.
And only hitting .231 against the rights. And he's a switch hitter, so he jumps on the other side when we put that right-hander out there.
Skies at center field. Stanfield going back. This ball leaves the ballpark. The first hit of the weekend is a 3-run bomb by McCoy. And Kentucky is on the board in the 5th. 4th home run of the season for James McCoy.
Shortstop number 12, Grant Smith.
You know, a game gets played between the white lines. You can have all the information you want. You can have all the reports you want. You can have all the data in the world, but the game gets played between the lines. And, you know, tip your hat to McCoy. He's hitting .231 against rights, but that didn't make any difference right then.
8 home runs this weekend for Kentucky. Again, they had 6 last night. 5 of those were solo shots.
That wasn't a take there, Graham. I think he actually we're playing back at third and following a home run like that. It's not a bad time to drop one down for a hit. You got Grant Smith, the 9-hole guy. This guy's job is just to get on base. You know, kind of bring that lineup, bring Walt Smith and the guys that do damage, bring them up with somebody on.
Here's his second base hit of the weekend. Pierce gets to it, and Smith stops at first base. So the first 4 batters for the Wildcats, all base hits here in the 5th.
Day. And, you know, you'd like to just pencil in when you ran him out there, you know, we're going to get a couple of ground balls and a strikeout and move on. But it's just why everybody's got to be ready. And when one guy's at his worst, somebody else has got to be at their best. And that's honestly what makes a team, because you're not going to have guys at their best every day. And when you're not at your best, you got to be good on your bad day. That's what he's got to fight through right now. It's just find a way to get a ground ball in the middle of the field right here.
That's past the catcher, Strickland, and ending up on second base easily, it's Grant Smith. So wild pitch by Armstrong.
Probably a good time for somebody to go to the mound right here. Maybe the catcher, not to waste another trip by a coach. But just kind of take a breath, collectively take a breath as a team right here in the infield for sure.
Kentucky, they did not have their first base runner until the 4th.
The thing the wild pitch did right there is it took the double play out of play.
And that's inside for ball 4.
You just can't be left unprepared to make a move. I mean, I think it's pretty clear right now. John's struggling. Now, can he get through it? Can he fight through it and get you an out or two right here? Surely. And he might get you a ground ball double play right here. because he is a ground ball type guy. And it's the amateur level, and I'm not speaking down to it. I'm just telling you it is what it is, you know. So by that, it's just more unpredictable.
Line drive, right field, charging in to make the catch. It's Pierce.
Nice
What a
play.
catch by Bobby Pierce. That's the first out of the inning.
Really nice play. Big play. It was an important play. Need to get that out. So now you're just one pitch away from getting out of the inning.
The catcher number 7, Devin Burks.
You know, Burks is most of his damage, his base hits are to the left side of the field. So I think he is a good candidate, you know, to get him to roll over something and get either a 5-4-3 or a 6-4-3 double play and get out of this thing.
He's 0 for 1 today with a walk. Throw to second. Boy, that almost got away by Fabian.
Yeah, these guys on base, they're base runners. They're out there to get to the next base. They do a little bit of the same approach that Auburn does base running when it comes to stealing. They're trying to get moving. They're trying to be vaulting. And if they're vaulting and you're not looking at them and you lift and go, they're going to run. There we go. It's his first really good slider right there. Again, this is the guy that's he can strike this guy out. This is the one guy in the lineup that I do think struggles against that slider. There we go.
Looked awfully good there. A 3-pitch strikeout for Armstrong. 2 outs in the inning.
He's not done yet. I mean, here you got a grad transfer from USC and Nick Lopez, who hits from both sides of the plate. And he's a .390 hitter against right-handed pitching. So he's still got his work cut out for him.
Lopez single last time he was up, jumps on the first pitch and spins it foul.
He didn't give me. He knew he was sitting fastball. Lopez up there trying to ambush a first pitch fastball, and looked like he got a change. So that you start with that first pitch change and then go to that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and it probably felt like it was 95.
Feels like Armstrong has started to settle in a little bit.
So Lopez going into this weekend had only struck out 8 times and 107 at bats. So that tells you this guy's got a really good 2-strike approach. So I like that pitch right there. I mean, guys that have a 2-strike approach you almost have to go in on them. If you go away, they're going to put the ball in play, and he's good enough to go the other side with it. So staying hard in is probably the way to go.
It's now a 3-2 count on Lopez. What do you think makes a good 2-strike hitter?
Guy that's willing to give in a little bit, shorten up. He can just foul off. He can foul a lot of balls off.
That's high for ball 4. Kentucky has loaded the bases.
I'm just trying to settle him down.
So Daly takes strike 1. He represents the tying run. He's hitting .750 this season when the bases are loaded. Cranks it in the air to left field. Ballou ranging over, has got a beat on it, makes the catch, and the inning is over. Kentucky gets on the board in the 5th. Junior out of Minnesota.
Another guy who threw on Tuesday, threw a couple innings on Tuesday. And so, you know, you're on a game 3 situation here where you didn't get much length out of your starter. And you're going to some of your midweek guys who can hopefully get you. I'm sure what they're trying to do is get down to Johnny Hummel, who threw in game one. I don't think Travis Smith. I don't think they'll run him back out there, but who knows? They would do it for an out, but that's their go-to guys if they can get this thing close or take a lead.
8-9-1 batters at the plate. Guevara shoots it in the air to right field. McCoy makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
The catcher, number 6, Cale Strickland.
New batter, this is Cale Strickland. So second start in a row for Strickland.
He's done a good job behind the dish. I mean, he's blocking well. He's catching the ball well. He's throwing a couple of guys out.
Pops it up, right field. McCoy makes the catch, so he's got the first 2 outs
Since the second inning. So it's it's not like we're hitting on all cylinders right now.
Busy 5th inning for James McCoy. He records all 3 outs as Auburn goes down in order 1, 2, 3. After 5, it's a 4-run. Ryan Nicholson takes the first pitch strike.
Now, I mentioned in the open, this is kind of a gut check day for Auburn, especially on the pitching staff, but it's a real gut check in the dugout with those coaches. I mean, when you're up 7-0, you're feeling okay, but Kentucky has refused just to go away.
Nicholson continues to stay hot, hits it off the video board. My goodness, have a weekend, Ryan Nicholson.
Center fielder, number 19, Nolan McCarthy.
Home run number 4 this weekend. He's got 6 home runs his last 3 SEC games.
Again, it's somebody on that mound's going to take charge. Bauman did, and obviously John had a bad outing today.
There's a new pitcher for Auburn. It's the freshman out of Newburgh, Indiana, Cam Tilley. He last pitched almost a week ago against Tennessee. This is his 11th appearance this season.
This is a guy that there's a lot of optimism about. He's got pretty good command of a breaking ball. He also has a split that at this point in his career, I think could help him get out of some problems. And that's probably, he went fastball there, but you see his fastball's up to 94. You know, there's no velo right now that's going to surprise Kentucky's hitters any more than it surprised Tennessee's hitters last week. You've got to be able to get the ball into a good location, which is either on the hands or down and away. If it's anywhere over the heart of the plate, up or down, you know, the guys are going to put it in play. And as the weather warms up, the ground gets harder, and those balls are going to go through more and more.
Second hit today for Nolan McCarthy. 6 hits this weekend. This is James McCoy.
You know, you just cannot let them see you bleed right here. just not where you want to be 2-0 in this situation. Nobody out, a run already in, got a guy at first base. Got to play, hit one out last time. So you try to pitch backwards to him and you miss, and now you're 3-0.
Take here, green light.
Oh, I'm taking. I mean, he needs another base runner. They're down 3, so, I mean, they'd still be down a run if he hit it out, so. I don't think he'll take here. He might start the runner here. If he trusts his guy at the plate, not to take a strike, to give him a chance to be thrown out.
Misses high for ball 4.
We have got a much different strike zone today, and I think it would have benefited today's guys a little better if they could have had the strike zones of the first 2 days.
So McCarthy on second, McCoy at first.
But that's the job of a pitcher's got to adjust. I mean, it's not like this isn't inconsistent. I mean, he's not as likely to call the high strike as we saw in the first couple of games.
I asked John Cohen last night, I'll ask you, because you've seen a lot of baseball. Do you think we'll ever get to the point at the collegiate level, robot umpires?
Well, it'll definitely happen in the big leagues. It's already being done at some levels of professional baseball. So it wouldn't surprise me because things tend to trickle down. You know, I honestly, some things trickle up, some things trickle down. I think the technology actually isn't taking them home with you, especially in at bats of meaning, you know.
Throw to second. So Grant Smith is at the plate. He's the number 9 hitter. Corner infielders at the edge of the grass for Auburn. Smith, 2 hits this weekend, one of those today. Kentucky again, no base hits or base runners the first 3 innings. They have been able to flip a switch. Lifted high in the air, left center field. Ballou waves everybody off, and the center fielder Stanfield makes the catch, and everybody stays put on base for Kentucky.
That was a big out, and I think Grant would like to have that at bat back. Swung at a borderline pitch up, and he didn't get on top of it. He's not a guy that you're want making outs in the air, but got a lot of work still in front of us because you got top of the order right here with Wall-Smith.
He's got a single and a walk today. So he represents the tying run at the plate. 9 home runs in his career for the Charleston Southern transfer. That one slipped out of the hand of the pitcher, Tilley.
You know, you see a lot of picks in today's game simply because of the rules that are now in place. You only get 1 step off during this at bat, 1 time to disengage if you're running out of time on the clock. As long as you're making a throw, then that doesn't count. That's why you see a lot of throws being made when there's a 0 chance of recording it out. But if you'll make the throw, it doesn't count as a disengagement. I think it's one part of the speed up rules that need to be reevaluated.
You think it's on the table to at least be discussed?
It will get. It takes, you know, anytime they make a change, it sits there for 2 years. So I don't know. I think this is 2nd year of that. So it probably will get addressed.
3-0, caught a strike.
Yeah, I think we did get a little bit of a high strike there.
McCarthy on second, McCoy at first. There you go. That's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, if he doesn't throw it, then he has no opportunity to disengage and step off.
Yeah, reset.
Right.
Battles back to make it a full count.
That's a great pitch. You see, that pitch right there will play, but you can't be an every now and again thing. You've got to get good enough that you can make that pitch at a high percentage of times. 70% of the time. You got to throw that pitch. If you're going there 10 times, you got to make it 7. Let's see, the rule's not speeding up the game. Forcing a guy to make this throw when there's no play doesn't speed the game up.
Three-two pitch. Misses for ball 4, and Kentucky has loaded the bases.
Well, they went full count breaking ball after he'd made a tremendous 3-1 pitch on the fastball. It's just it's a philosophy. It's not the kid on the mound. It's everything's coming from the dugout. It's just a philosophy right there.
So tying run on base for Kentucky. Petrie at the plate.
And there's a lot of times walk's not a bad play. I don't know, Waldschmidt's not one of those guys. He hadn't been hitting the ball out of the park. But, sometimes when a team is really high like Nicholson, I mean, you might consider putting him on and not giving him a chance if you got multiple runners on base. I mean, again, teams hitting can be very contagious, and sometimes you can break the contagion, if you will. Is that a word? You can break the contagion with a base on ball.
That's high. 2-1. Petrie this season hitting .400 when the bases are loaded. Flipped foul, 2-2 count.
See, he's got a good fastball. I mean, we've seen 93, 94. What I'd like to see him do is use what I'd call false shakes. I mean, he's going to throw a fastball, but let's shake our head before we do it. And put some, there we go.
It's a missile, catch made for 1 out.
Got a break. When you're a pitcher that really is struggling with your secondary and you're going to have to throw a lot of fastballs, using what we call a false shake, where you're just shaking your head just to give the hitter the impression that you're shaking a signal off when you're really not. And it puts doubt. It just puts a little bit of doubt in the mind of the hitter.
Bases loaded for the catcher, Devin Burks. Burks, .750 average this year when the bases are juiced.
Big pitch. Big pitch. Went 1-0 breaking ball right there and threw it for a strike. Make a quality pitch right here.
High and deep in the air to center. Stanfield on the move. He leaps and he can't come up with it. McCarthy scores. McCoy scores. It's a bases clearing double for Devin Burks, who ties the game at 7.
Got a fastball up out in an SEC game. Left-handed freshman.
It is first pitch to Nick Lopez is hammered deep to left center field, and for the first time today, Kentucky storms back to take the lead. The 10th home run of the weekend. Third home run for Nick Lopez. And he wasted no time, absolutely destroyed the first offering. First pitch to Daly, misses for ball one. What does this say for a team like Kentucky? Down 7 runs on the road. You've won the first 2. It would have been easy to be, hey, this is not our day. But the Wildcats have stormed back to take the lead.
Well, again, they've put together a really experienced, older roster, not short on talent, but definitely up on age. And you just saw a guy who's 23 hitting off a guy who's 18 in his first pitch in an SEC game, got left the yard. You know, again, nobody's going to feel sorry for you, and if you don't want to drown, you got to start swimming, and you don't have a choice.
Second inning in a row, Kentucky has sent 9 batters to the plate.
I mean, you know, Tilly had a good fastball. We already see Griffin's got a really good fastball. This is exactly what's going through the mind of the Kentucky guys. They say, yeah, they got good fastballs. What else they got? A lot of experience, a lot of ABs, a lot of games played.
That's high for ball 4. So Daly is aboard for the first time today. So Ryan Nicholson, who started this inning off with a home run, he strolls to home plate. So Kentucky this weekend, 10 home runs. Ryan Nicholson has 4. Had the runner leaning. Daly's back in. So this was earlier this inning. Nicholson just destroys it. So that started the inning, and the Wildcats have been able to continue to roll here in the top of the 6th. 6 runs on 4 hits. Nicholson, by the way, that home run was career hit number 201 for the senior out of Louisville. Boy, he wanted another one too. That was a huge swing and a miss. Throw to first, gets away by Cooper McMurray, picked up by Fabian, slings it to second, and it's not in time to get the runner, Mitchell Daly. Looked like McMurray wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, he threw it where he had to go across his body to catch it. I mean, you're just kind of asking the kid to do quite a lot right now. Daly's not a big runner. He's like 6 bags. He's not huge. This guy at the plate's the one that can do some damage.
Check swing. Home plate umpire says he goes around. Hank Hinneman.
Anything with a bunch of eggs in it.
A good omelet is tough to beat.
Let's don't talk about breakfast right now. We got a game.
2, 3, 4 batters coming up here for Auburn in the bottom of the 6th. Auburn scored all 7 of their runs in the second and third innings. Cooper McMurray leading off.
And Kentucky scored all of their runs in the 5th and 6th.
That's right. They've been on a roll at the plate the last 2.
We hit a couple of sac flies, and they've hit balls out of the park.
McMurray swings and misses. It's a strikeout for Robert Hogan, his first.
It's a really good, tough pitch, but I see that's not a typical at bat for Cooper. I think that's a frustration at bat. I think that's a guy who went to the plate still thinking about what it was like on the field.
After the throw to first, got past him.
Well, just a whole inning.
Yeah.
Just. I think it's really hard for this not to continue to pile up. I mean, I said at the beginning it's going to be a gut check day, and it is. But they've still got outs to work with.
Long way to go as Pierce flips it in the air, shallow right field, backing up to make the catch. It's Petrie for the second out. So what can Auburn do to not let this just have a snowball effect?
They need the freshman to go out there and put up a 0. They need to get back in the dugout. I think he's got a good fastball. His fastball will play. His secondary stuff won't. I think you play cost-benefit analysis, actually. You use the fastball. You use a lot of shakes. And you try to get through 3 hitters on a fastball. And he showed you left-handed 93. I mean, you got Nicholson to check swing and foul tip to get out of that last inning. I think the fastball's got a little ride to it. It gets on him. There's too many mistakes being made with the secondary stuff. I mean, for me, I would be setting up on their hands and just throwing it in there, getting the ball right on their hands. Which is a little bit what they try to do. They crowd you like that right there. He's crowding him with a slider. Anytime you see enough room, you see daylight. You see daylight between the hitter and the catcher. You see the umpire right there in that daylight. There's your strike zone. Hit that umpire right in the cup.
Outside for ball 4.
That's an at bat. That's a base runner. You need base runners right here. Kind of a tough call. Do you want to run for him right here or not? I don't know if I'd want to give up his at bat. His bat in the lineup, but you definitely need to be able to score from first if you hit a double.
Here's Cade Ballou. He's had a very productive day at the plate. He's been aboard 3 times.
You see where that pitch is? He's using the slider to do it, but he's getting slider in on the hands. Now, I mean, he can hit it, but that's a tough pitch to hit. You make a mistake with that pitch, and you're probably just hitting the guy. When you're trying to throw that thing perfect backdooring him, you tend to run into that bat a little bit more.
Home run today for Ballou. It was a leadoff shot to begin the second. It was the first run of the day for Auburn. His 3rd home run of the season. His first base hit of the weekend. And that pitch clips him.
There you go. They got to play the same game we do. So, just keep forcing them to make pitches. It's a bend, don't break. I use a lot of football analogies, but it is. You just got to make them run a bunch of plays. And that's like making the pitcher make a bunch of pitches. So if you can, anything you can do to get him to make another pitch. Now, Chris has had a bit of a rough day. He's been frustrated. He hadn't liked the strike zone, but he's capable.
He does have a sac fly today. He was inches away from a bases clearing extra base hit down the 3rd base line.
They were trying to go in, and he missed down. Borderline ball strike.
Huggins, 0-2, misses.
See, those are good misses. He's making good pitches right here. If he doesn't make a good pitch, you got to foul off the good pitches. And if he doesn't make the pitch you want, you got to be ready to square it up. And we're talking 85-mile-an-hour sliders right there. I mean, those are real.
Easier said than done to lay off those.
Very.
So 2 outs. Runners should be on the move here.
So this is a mano right here. Pitcher-hitter battle right here. Who can win it?
3-2 to Stanfield. Checks his swing, and it misses for ball 4. Bases are loaded for Auburn.
You know, that is really, really close, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
So Hogan, he picked up 2 quick outs to start this inning. Since then, he's walked 2, and he's hit a batter.
Yep.
And a very hot hitter coming up at the plate here for Auburn.
This is how you climb back in the game right here.
Meeting on the mound time for Kentucky. They're
Alabama this week.
First pitch to Fabian, it's a strike. Kentucky, they played in that slugfest on Tuesday. They played at Sanford. Sanford, a very good program in the Southern Conference. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Christian Hall at third. Cade Ballou on second. Chris Stanfield at first. 0-2 pitch.
You know, the thing I've liked about Derek, you know, he's done a good job with 2 strikes of going the right side. I mean, this guy's got a good slider. I think he's going to keep seeing it.
Swing and a miss. Hogan fights his way out of a bases-loaded jam. And 7, 8, 9 batters here for Kentucky. Here's Nolan McCarthy. So Graves now on the mound for Auburn. Look at what the Tigers have done. Last 5 SEC games, 60 runs allowed, including giving up 24 home runs. Trying to get back on track on the mound. Tigers today have utilized a lot of different pitchers. 4 total. McCarthy today's got 2 singles. He scored twice. This is game number 100 for him at Kentucky.
And game number 1 in the SEC for Griffin Graves. He's competing. I mean, he's got a really good arm. It's a really quick arm. You know, the SEC has never been a development league. And right now, you got guys out there that, you know, this guy's going to be a really good player. But this is you don't want him to be developing right now. You want him to be ready to earn a choice. There you go.
strikeout. That's 2 in a row for Griffin Graves.
Right fielder number 13, James McCoy.
Graves, a true freshman out of Jackson, Tennessee. This is punch foul off the bat of James McCoy.
I mean, that fastball got on him so bad. That looked like an emergency hack on an 0-0 pitch. I mean, it just, I think it's getting on him pretty good. They're not seeing the fastball as well.
What makes his fastball so good?
All day long right there. You know, to my eye, it's really, he's got velo, and he's got that place, that location right there about as good as it gets. What the analytics might say, it's 3 right there. There you go.
That's 3 strikeouts in a row for the freshman, Griffin Graves.
Shortstop number 12, Grant Smith.
Grant Smith in the 9 spot steps in. And that sounded like it hit the home plate umpire. I think it did.
Yeah.
Hank Himmelman hit that shin around his left ankle. So for Griffin Graves, the 3 strikeouts, it's a new career high. Here's a little flare over the mound, charging in. Fabian over to first in time as Kentucky goes down 1-2-3 for the first time since the 3rd for Auburn. Guevara takes ball 1.
You know, both of the clubs right now are asking guys to step up. Hogan's out there. He's now doubled his number of innings in SEC this year. And obviously, as we mentioned, Griffin Graves is making his first. So these are 2 guys on the mound right now. And basically what's come down to about a 6-out game. 2 guys that haven't been there much.
Spank to left field, Guevara, his 2nd base hit of the ball game. Well, you mentioned it early, just players for both of these teams getting a lot of action today. And a big spot here because Auburn is sending Ike Irish to the plate. He did not play yesterday. He did start game 1 of this series, so Irish represents the tying run. He's got 11 home runs this season. He leads Auburn in RBIs. He's been battling a hand issue. Saw what he did in game 1 of this series, 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. He's hitting for Cale Strickland in the 9 spot. So Auburn will have a new catcher defensively. Ground ball right side. Could this be 2? Nicholson over to second for 1. The throw back to first in time for the double play. 3-6-3 double play. The bases are now empty.
Shortstop, number 2, Cooper.
Well, they've struggled defensively a little bit today, but they didn't struggle on that one. Nicholson made a really nice play. Left-handed first base, such a positive thing, and made a good feed and really turned it. That's a tough spot. You know, Ike is as competitive a guy as there is, and you know he wanted to be up there. It is a big ask.
Softly hitting one hopper to short. Grant Smith fires it to first in time, and only top of the order for Kentucky. Here's Ryan Waldsmith. Point you were making earlier with Griffin Graves and some of these other younger players for both teams, it's not a developmental league, but how do you balance that when you want to get your guys experience and then also try to develop them at the same time?
Well, you really count on your hitters to score you some runs, and if there are games like that, it's usually midweek. You're not using SEC games to develop. And it is a delicate balance. Everybody's trying to win, but as a coach, you are trying to both win and develop. And every player on your roster is in a little different place, you know, on the curve. So it's difficult. It's challenging. I won't say difficult, but it's the fun of coaching. It's what you got into it for. And you know, I really tip my hat to Nick Mingione. I mean, Kentucky, you know, they're the North Pole of the SEC, and you know, and he's got probably what he would call little brother in Louisville that's, you know, been able to take advantage of some scholarship advantages that they have there to put together a great program traditionally, and now they're a little bit struggling, and Nick has got it going, and he's doing it through the portal. And doing it through development. It's not just a one way, one path. He's done a good job, you know, building off of super regional appearance last year.
It's a leadoff walk to Ryan Waldsmith. Waldsmith has walked 3 times today, so he's standing at first base.
I think this is probably the most meaningful one he's had. He's got a good fastball and he's got a good hard slider. He's not going to look like a catcher. I mean, he's really made the transition very well.
How often have you seen that transition?
Oh, it happens. I mean, it does. I mean, catchers, for the most part, are really good athletes, and they got good arms. And sometimes if the bat doesn't play, then you can make that move. I mean, it happens at every level of the game.
Waldsmith is a threat to steal. 13 stolen bases this season. He's got 31 in his career. The batter, this is Petrie. He's the only batter in the Kentucky lineup today that has not been on base.
More of a curveball there. That's a pitch I've seen him throw much. I've seen the slider, and the slider's pretty good. I mean, for him to have developed multiple breaking balls in just such a short time, it's really impressive from a coaching standpoint. He's just such a, you know, this guy was just coming in when I left back in 2020, and they've just done a great job with him.
Ripped to right field. It's a base hit for Petrie. And the first 2 have reached for Kentucky here in the 8th. So now everybody in the lineup today for the Wildcats has been aboard at least once.
I think he started doing it a couple of years ago.
And it's been working for Kentucky. Super Regionals last year. 40 victories. This year, first place in the SEC. Devin Burke shows bunt.
Well, here you go. They are going to try to play a little small ball right here. See if they can get a couple of guys in scoring position with the middle of that order coming up.
Dribbled foul, 1-1.
I like the temperament. I like the temperament of the guy on the mound. I really do. I think position player, catcher, you know, he just never seems to me to get rattled. Even though he's got very little experience out there.
Do you like that from your pitchers, just kind of stoic on the mound? Or would you rather have emotion?
Well, it's a good question because you want guys to be who they are, but there's a difference between, I think he's pitching with emotion. I just don't think he's emotional. And that's what you want out of your players. You want players to play with emotion, but, you know, emotional players in this game usually don't, you know, flame out. You're on a roller coaster, things, if you're just on emotional highs and lows all the time, but you're playing from the heart.
2-1, it's a bunt picked up by Irish. The new catcher slings it to first in time to record the out. So Waldschmidt to third, Petrie at second after the sac bunt by Devin Burks.
Nice bunt, a really tough play for Ike, especially after sitting for a day and a half. You know, when you know it, first time he gets out there, I mean, they're gonna put a bunt down that he's got to run out there and circle and make a pretty good throw for him.
The batter's Nick Lopez, infield in for Auburn. Lopez lifts the first pitch he sees in the air to left field. Ballou ranging over and bounces out of his reach. Batted around in the 5th and 6th.
It's just such a veteran lineup. You know, you could think about putting him on right here, but it puts a ton of pressure on the pitcher. But you've got a USC transfer followed by a Texas transfer followed by a Cincinnati transfer who, you know, is come in and hit here 5 or 6 home runs on the weekend. I mean, the middle of this lineup is very, very experienced.
The 1-2 in the dirt.
It's not a bad pitch. I mean, he's got a pretty good 12-6 breaking ball against this left-hander. He didn't leave it up. It gave him something he had to offer at. Not a lot of swing and miss. That is such a great pitch. There's the slider right there. That's a great pitch. I don't know, guys. I'm liking that for a strike.
The 3-2 hammered deep to right field. Lopez for the second time today goes deep. A 3-run shot. It's now a 5-run lead for Kentucky.
Went with a curveball that time. Just left it up. You make mistakes with off-speed stuff, that's what happens. Sometimes you can get away with a mistake with a fastball, you get a foul ball or something, but you don't usually see a lot of pitches that are left up in the zone soft. They don't usually get fouled off.
What a plate appearance by the senior Nick Lopez. He had 2 home runs all season, 2 today, home run number 16 in his career. Base is now empty for Mitchell Daly. And taps it foul. It's now 11 home runs this weekend for Kentucky. And again, this was a team first in the SEC in sacrifice bunts. They had 43 home runs entering today. They were at 35 at the start of the week.
Coming into the series, the thing that jumped out at me was the number of times they've been hit and the number of stolen bases. It's like a scrappy club, and they've kind of found a new dimension to their offense this weekend with the home runs.
Yeah, they are second in the SEC in hit by pitch, first in the conference in stolen bases. Peeled down to first. Justin Robinson says Daly does not go around. Daly, the only person in the lineup today for Kentucky that does not have a base hit. He is now walked for the second time.
Well, as frustrating as it may be for fans, and I'll say
Game this weekend is looking for their 3rd consecutive sweep. After this weekend, Kentucky, they will have a monster series at home against Tennessee. They will play at Louisville on Tuesday before they take on the Vols. New pitcher, another
I
fresh.
think he's got a chance, but he's still in the process. He's still developing.
That's tap foul. That's what you've discussed throughout the course of today. It's just that tricky spot. You want to give everybody experience, but also it's just a very challenging league to develop. And you think about what's coming up next for Auburn. The next 2 series, SEC-wise, will be on the road at Mississippi State and then at LSU. Fly ball right field. Bobby Pierce glides over. He makes the catch. It's the second out of the inning.
Well, back in 2018, when I first came here, we had a freshman named Tanner Burns, but he had a junior named Casey Mize to watch him fall around. But Tanner was a pretty special arm. And they all had Keegan Thompson, or Casey had Keegan Thompson, and then Tanner had Casey. And they just need that guy right now that can kind of lead the staff like those guys did.
That's a good combination, good stretch there with all those guys that you listed. Too close, too far inside to Nolan McCarthy. Wanted fouling out of play off the bat of Nolan McCarthy. He's got 2 singles and 2 runs scored today.
So, Graham, there was your two-strike approach. It's a fastball away. He just fouls it off. So he's very defensive. So I stay hard on him. I try to get it close to him. Just like that. If I want to do it again right here, which I think I do, I'm going to shake my head one time, and I'm going to go back in there.
What's it do when you shake the head?
It's putting some doubt into that hitter if you're shaking to a breaking ball.
Swing and a miss. It's
So
a
he-
strikeout for Hogan. Hogan went 3 innings. He did his job. He only gave up 1 base hit.
Yeah, he did. Robert did a great job, especially coming out of midweek where he gave him 2 1/3 on Tuesday. Cooper Robinson, who's out there now, has been in 1 SEC game for 2/3 of an inning. So they're in a bit of the same situation that Auburn has found themselves in. And can we rally enough offensively to do something with it?
Ground ball. This is pulled foul. 1-2 on Cooper McMurray. He had an RBI single in the 3rd. 2 runs in the 2nd for Auburn. And a 5 spot in the 3rd. Had some moments since then. Tigers had the bases loaded back in the 6th. Look at that last pitch and swing. I think he wasn't too comfortable with it, but stays alive. Shift is on here for McMurray. The 3-2 pops up out of play. Misses for ball 4. Second time McMurray's been able to draw a walk today.
Right fielder, number 27, Bobby Pierce.
Bobby Pierce, the new batter. Senior out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Auburn, they will play Georgia Tech right here at Plainsman Park on Tuesday. Before playing Mississippi State in Starkville.
Doesn't get any easier, does it?
Not at all.
You know, the question that's still going to get answered, I think, and it's great in this sport. We answer them on the field. I mean, Kentucky's going to have to go through, as you mentioned, Tennessee. I think we found out. We came into this series and Kentucky had not played anybody with a winning record, and Auburn had played, arguably the 2nd or 3rd best, opponent record in the league. So what was going to happen this weekend? Well, what happened is what we've seen.
Strike 3 called. Bobby Pierce goes down looking.
Favorable schedule, you might, because they got both Tennessee and Arkansas at home.
That gets past the catcher Burks. Strutting down to second base is McMurray. So Kentucky, they have the shift on. This will potentially impact that with the lefty Christian Hall now at the plate.
That'll be interesting to see the crowds in Lexington.
For the Tennessee matchup?
Yeah, that could be huge. It's a beautiful, beautiful ballpark.
It is one of the newer ones in the conference. You look around the league, Auburn getting a $30 million renovation that will be completed, ready to go, starting next season. Ole Miss is getting a $30 million renovation as well. Swing and a miss, but you look around the conference, all the ballparks are gorgeous. Great atmospheres. It's what attracts so many top players to this conference. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Christian Hall. He's walked twice today, he's scored once.
Mr. Robinson is trying to make a statement right here, I think. He's pitching with a lot of conviction. That's a really tough pitch to lay off of.
High for ball 4, 3rd time today Christian Hall's walks. 2nd walk of the inning for Cooper Robinson. So he's got a strikeout sandwiched in between a pair of walks.
It's a 27-out game.
Left fielder number 14, Kate Ballou.
Here's the freshman, Cade Ballou. Only hit this weekend, the solo shot in the 2nd. And Kentucky will have a mound visit as Auburn, not Kentucky. You see Johnny Hummel in the bullpen for the Wildcats. Gets away momentarily by the catcher Burks. Everybody stays put for Auburn. It's McMurray on 2nd, Hall at 1st. Robinson has bounced back. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Cade Ballou. Tigers on the hunt for their timely hit. Only 1 base hit since the 3rd inning. Two popped up out of play. Auburn today as a team 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
Just need a base runner right here. Just keep fighting him. Fighting pitches off. There we go. There we go. There we go. Just keep making them make pitches. It's a good at bat.
Bases.
This is the end of the road. This is the guy that's got the ball in his hand, win or lose.
Second time today, Stanfield's been at the plate when the bases are loaded.
You know, he's another interesting guy in that he was a Division II transfer. He's from Erskine. I just applaud, you know, the job that Kentucky's done finding players. And we're not talking about, this is not a big-time arm. This is kind of an anomaly. Really good, you know, kind of a cutter fastball with a 12-6 breaking ball.
So Butch Thompson comes out and he wants to have a chat with home plate umpire Hank Himmelden.
I'm not real sure what that's about.
Me either. It was after the last offering, which was without question a ball. That misses. 2-1. Elevated for ball 3. Look at what Auburn has done today with runners in scoring position. 2 for 8 compared to the 4 base knocks for Kentucky. Stanfield, he was so close to having an extra base hit down the third base line. This time flips it in the air, shallow left center field, charging in, Walt Smith. He makes the catch, and everybody will stay put for Auburn. That's McMurray at third, the first baseman. That's a big out for Kentucky.
Yeah, he got beat on a 3-1 fastball.
Second baseman, number 7, Derek Fabian.
Two outs, bases are loaded for Derek Fabian. Take strike 1. Fabian 4 hits this weekend for the Florida transfer. Hit in the air, center field. Nolan McCarthy trying to fight off the sun, and he makes the catch for the final out of the inning. So the Tigers, for the second time today, load the bases, cannot. What could be? But anytime you leave 12 runners on base today, it can drive you crazy. You don't miss those days, do you, being in the dugout in spots like that?
I absolutely do miss it.
You do miss it.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Check swing. That is a strike on McCoy. Sends it out of play for strike 2. Well, McCoy, he had the first home run of the day. He broke out of an 0 for 9 skid with that home run. Rips this foul, 1-2, it remains.
Anytime you see an offense that has a pretty balance between base on ball and strikeouts, which Kentucky does, and actually Auburn does as well, you have to be able to go hard in to finish at bats. You have to be able to finish at bats with a fastball, as he tried to do right there.
Appeal down to third. It's Jeffrey Macias. That's what you were touching on earlier.
It's a check. I thought it might have been in the zone.
That's up and away. It's ball 4. Second walk today for James McCoy.
Number 12, Grant Smith.
The batter, this is Grant Smith in the 9 spot. Shows bunt, drops a good one coming off the mound. Petrovic fires it over to first base in time. So sac bunt by Smith puts McCoy on second.
Number 21, Ryan Waldschmidt.
Kentucky trying to make it 10 consecutive SEC victories. They have sweeps over Alabama and Ole Miss entering today. There's a strike. Top of the order. This is Ryan Waldschmidt. He's got 3 walks in a row. His only hit today was a single in the 4th. Petrovic is pitcher number 6 used today for Auburn. Tigers just trying to find an answer on the mound, not only to wrap up this series, but moving forward the rest of the way. Line drive, base hit. This will get all the way to the wall. Another run scores for Kentucky. It's an RBI double for Ryan Waldschmidt. Double number 7 this season.
Number 4, Emilian Petrie.
If you're going to go soft there, it's just got to leave the strike zone. They're too good at 2-strike hitters. He's been fighting off the fastball, and they just fought it off long enough to get a soft pitch up in the zone.
Petrie now at the plate. Just seems like Kentucky, they've done a nice job this season winning in different ways. Manufacturing runs, hitting doubles, hitting home runs. Just a really good mix. It's waved and missed. I think Petrie just got a piece of it. He did.
Well, I mean, they've got Kentucky's got a lineup of guys that are committed to getting the ball in play with 2 strikes, and so they're forcing you to throw the ball in on them, just like that.
Popped up on the infield. Shortstop Cooper Weiss hauls it in for the out.
If you can do that consistently as a pitcher, then you will have success. And when you don't, you're going to be either walking them or you're going to be throwing soft stuff, break ball change-ups in the strike zone, which plays right into a defensive hitter's strength. So it's an approach that you just carry to the plate day in and day out over the course of a year, and you're just, some people call it grinding out at bats. I think we would offend everybody that ever played college football if we talk about grinding anything and on a baseball field, but that is that's the mentality of it.
Mm-hmm. Burks down 0-2 here.
Now that's an 0-1 breaking ball. That was an 0-1 swing. You know, a 2-strike approach. Now this is the one guy in their lineup to me that does kind of leave the zone and chase like that.
Burke strikes out to wrap up the top of the ninth. And have responded by winning the first 2. Looking for a sweep. 8-9 batters for Auburn. True freshman third baseman Eric Gavora. 2 hits today, lifts this in the air to center field. McCarthy twists and turns, and this leaves the ballpark. What a day for the freshman. His first home run as an Auburn Tiger.
How about that?
His first home run of the season.
Well, you can see why Butch Thompson and his staff, why they are sky high on their true freshman third baseman. What a story. That has to feel so good for him. Again, tore his ACL on October the 5th. And here he is in SEC play hitting home runs.
It really is unbelievable.
Second plate appearance of this game for Ike Irish. Did not start. Came in to pinch hit in the 7th and bounced into a double play. Checks his swing, goes around. It's the first out of the inning. First strikeout today for Johnny Hummel.
Shortstop number 2, Cooper Light.
Top of the order. Cooper Weiss did not have a base hit last night. Hitless today, but he's got 2 RBIs.
Let's go. Let's go, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Johnny Hummel. Kentucky 1 out away from their 3rd straight SEC sweep.
First base number 26, Cooper McMurray.
This game turned into a battle of the bullpens.
Shipped on for the first baseman, Cooper McMurray. Well, then both teams have used several pitchers today, 6 each. So Hummel ahead in the count here, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 swing and a miss. Johnny Hummel strikes out the side to secure a 13-8 victory.